Here's the headline: Woman waits 15 days to bury her dead mother in the backyard. Your mind may have resorted to blaming some kind of mania or mental disease, but apparently neither of these things played a part in keeping a corpse around the house as a conversation piece. In the midst of being sent to a psychiatric ward, this disgruntled Chicago woman blamed her actions on the commands of the Ouija board. But is the Ouija truly to blame? Is it at the fault of the spirits from beyond? Or is it all in our heads? Find out on this week's episode of Cool Stuff, Strange Things. From what began as a spiritualist tool, the Ouija board has evolved to play a variety of roles, each defined in the mind of the beholder. Side note, I used to call it the Ouija board, but after I chatted with some experts in the Talking Board Historical Society, I learned the proper way to say it is Ouija. Story has it, while it was being used by medium and mother of the board, Helen Nosworthy, the Ouija actually named itself. By spelling out O-U-I-J-A across the painted letters of its surface, the Ouija gave itself an identity that stuck for decades to come. If you're unfamiliar with the Ouija, it's usually a wooden board complete with numbers, the alphabet, the words yes and no, and a simple goodbye. Typically played with a group or sometimes independently, the players rest their hands on the movable planchette at the center of the board. The response to any question is answered by the planchette's movement. Beyond the spiritual realm, is there another explanation for this movement? One that may only be explained by the unexplainable? Science points to yes. Research has shown that human beings actually have some kind of second intelligence. This phenomenon is called the Ideomotor Effect, and it basically explains how and why we make movements without even realizing we're making them. Take driving, for example. Have you ever gone from one destination to another and thought, how in the world did I make it home? Navigating a vehicle while simultaneously thinking about what we're having for lunch or what we're doing on the weekend are perfect examples of mindless driving. But this ability to space out isn't really mindless, it's subconscious. Now, I'm in no way telling you that there's a second intelligence in your brain that you should rely on to drive your car, but in a controlled setting, you can rely on it to drive the responses of the Ouija board. A study by the researchers at the University of British Columbia tested this phenomenon using the board as its primary tool. Participants were asked verbally to answer questions to the best of their ability, and they were right about half the time. But when these subjects answered the same questions using the Ouija board, they answered correctly upwards 65% of the time, a result of believing that the answers were coming from someplace other than their common knowledge. Baffled by the dramatic difference in these results, the UBC is eager to run more studies surrounding our subconscious responses using the Ouija board as a base. The truth of the matter is, many of our everyday actions are done on somewhat autopilot, leaving us to wonder what lies in the depths of our brain that we don't even understand ourselves. But whether you're a believer in the science and the subconscious or the spirits and spells, one thing holds true: the Ouija world is truly unexplainable. I'm Steph DeStazio, and we'll see you next week for another mind-boggling episode of Cool Stuff, Strange Things.